Thank you. And I have to say that I did not choose the title. Thank you, Andy. My topic is about the money and how we can attract more of the capital that's in New Zealand into the companies that are here represented in the room today. If we can get more of the institutional investment capital in New Zealand to go into young, high-growth, aspiring New Zealand companies, that could move the cheese. It's not a new topic, nor a New Zealand issue. In 1945, the US Federal Reserve head said, "We have the greatest number of possibilities for new investments. We have various means of selecting the most attractive possibilities and for spreading the risk on those selected. We need to marry some small part of our enormous fiduciary resource, read New Zealand Super Fund, to the new ideas that are seeking support." And the US VC industry, by the way, was founded and built on this premise and the key role of institutional capital support for young, high-growth, aspiring companies. The idea of marrying some small part of the large resource that New Zealand Super Fund and others in that institutional space have and marrying it to your companies. So Icehouse is setting the challenge of building 3,000 internationally capable businesses to change the economic game, to move the cheese. So here's my big idea. We need to attract 2 billion of new investment capital for young New Zealand companies over the next 10 years. Actually, I don't think it's such a big idea, but I think it's a really important one. That's 200 million a year, 2 million per company, not much really. But rather than relying on one big cheese, the New Zealand Super Fund, I think we really need to create a cheese board. Hence my slide. So I've given this a lot of thought. For those of you who know me, I've been around in the venture capital and angel investment industry for the last 10 years now. So I know where those sources of capital are, and I think we need to get really aggressive around attracting that capital into our industry. So the first piece of cheese in this is wealthy migrants. There is a policy in New Zealand called the Wealthy Plus Migrant Policy, and for that policy, wealthy migrants can get permanent residence in New Zealand if they put 10 million. Mostly right now it goes into bonds and property. We need that policy changed so that if wealthy migrants want to come and live in our beautiful country and enjoy the fruits of this country, that they are willing for their money to go into building the future of this country. So we need their money to go directly into your companies, not into bonds or residential property. I think we can get at least 20 million a year just from that source. International New Zealand co-investment funds, at least another 25 million a year. But we need to create some sort of vehicles for them and not just give them dribs and drabs of companies. Let's create some funds and some structures that will allow them to invest into a whole range of companies and opportunities in New Zealand. Let's create some investment vehicles that they get access to all of your companies, not just one or two. Angels and Friends of New Zealand. Sorry, I should also say, just on that point, that we're having some very interesting discussions right now with Taiwan, and who are genuinely interested in partnering with New Zealand on this in this area. And I think there are many other countries as well. Angels and Friends of New Zealand, we know already that that there's a lot of money that's coming into this industry from angels. I think they're doing a pretty good job, 50 million a year. Maybe we can get some more from offshore angels as well. Individuals into VC funds, this part of the market is, there are lots of New Zealanders who are doing really well in putting their money already into this area. So coming to the New Zealand Super Fund, 50 million a year. They have a mandate to support growth, and they are interested, but they want unique opportunities and scale. Think 50 million plus individual investments or funds. We need to think of the New Zealand Super Fund as a customer who wants to buy products. And we need to understand their risk-return profile, the scale of opportunities that they are looking for, and the deep veins of knowledge and excellence that they're willing to support. We're the constraint right now. We're not offering them a big enough cheese. Finally, KiwiSaver. Right now, 3 billion a year flows into KiwiSaver accounts. Our competition is the funds management industry. All we need to do is get 1% of that 3 billion a year, and that'll give us another 30 million. So you can see that if we work really hard over the next 10 years, collectively, that there is a big opportunity to attract a much bigger piece of cheese into this industry. Remember the Chesdale jingle? At NZVIF, we really know our cheese. Sorry, it's a bit cheesy, but over the last 8 years, we've completed 524 individual investment transactions into your companies, 107 New Zealand companies. And do you know what? The average revenue per employee for those companies, your companies, is $240,000 per annum. That's double the average. So we'd like to be involved with you in continuing to build these investment products, to gather capital for your companies, and I'm not going to be daunted. You've got to be very determined to stay in this game. Venture capital is an increasing returns game. The more you do it, the better you get. The 100th deal is more likely to succeed than the first deal, and we've done over 100 deals. On that basis, I'm very optimistic about the next 10 years, and I think if we can tap into these new sources of capital, we've got no difficulties in attracting at least another $2 billion into this industry. Thank you.